Every year, the world drinks a whole lot of apple juice. We're talking about a global market worth well over $15 billion, with millions of tons consumed annually, making it one of the most popular drinks on the planet. In some countries, more than half of all apples grown aren't for eating. They're destined for the juice factory. And behind that simple carton in your fridge is a vast, complex, and surprisingly elegant industrial world working silently around the clock. So, have you ever really thought about how a mountain of apples like this becomes the pure, simple juice in your glass? It's a journey of mind-boggling scale, precision engineering, and some pretty brilliant science. Today, we're going inside a mega factory to see how it all happens, from the moment an apple is picked to the final bottle on the shelf. This is a place that churns out millions of liters every single day, and the process is more fascinating than you can imagine. Chapter 1. The Arrival, a Mountain of Apples. It all starts with an avalanche. During peak harvest season, a non-stop parade of trucks rolls into the factory, each one packed with tons of fresh apples straight from the orchard. A single facility like this can chew through an incredible 60,000 to 100,000 tons of apples every year. As hydraulic lifts tip the trucks, a waterfall of red, green, and yellow fruit cascades onto massive conveyor belts, filling the air with that sweet, earthy scent of a perfect autumn day. But this isn't just chaos. It's strategy. The flavor of your favorite apple juice is no accident. It's a recipe. Juice makers are expert blenders, often combining different apple varieties to get that consistent taste you love. They might use a mix of 50% Fuji for sweetness, 30% Granny Smith for a tart kick, and 20% Gala to round it all out. This blending ensures your juice tastes exactly the same, bottle after bottle. From the moment they arrive, every single apple is on a one-way trip to becoming liquid gold. Chapter 2. The Great Wash, First Cleansing. Before anything else, every apple has to get clean. The massive pile of fruit is guided into wide water channels, which are basically giant, flowing baths filled with about 90 tons of recycled water. It's a system that's both effective and sustainable. As the apples float along, the gentle current gives them a first rinse, washing away any loose dirt, leaves, or twigs that tagged along from the orchard. These channels have a clever design. Often, a conveyor inside moves against the flow of the water. So, as the apples float forward, heavier junk like rocks sinks and gets carried away, while lighter bits like leaves get snagged by the opposing conveyor and lifted out. It's a simple but super effective way to separate the good stuff from the field debris, making sure only clean apples head into the factory. Chapter 3. The Selection. Only the best advance. After their first bath, the apples face a tough inspection. Not every apple is good enough for the juice. In a mega factory, this is where human skill meets high-tech robotics. The apples cruise down brightly lit conveyors where trained workers stand guard, their eyes scanning for any mold, bad bruises, or rot. Any fruit that doesn't make the cut is pulled from the line in a split second. But the real magic happens next. Modern factories use optical sorters, high-speed cameras that snap dozens of pictures of each apple from every angle. In milliseconds, software analyzes those images for size, color, and even tiny blemishes. If an apple is underripe, overripe, or just not perfect, a precise puff of air or tiny mechanical arm knocks it off the line. The goal is to have a defect rate under 3%. But don't worry, the rejected apples aren't wasted. Most are composted. Only the absolute best apples get to move on. Chapter 4. Deep Clean. Hygiene is everything passing inspection was just the first hurdle. Now the real cleaning begins. The chosen apples enter a multi-stage washing process where hygiene is the top priority. They tumble through a series of tanks and chambers, getting scrubbed and sprayed from every angle. First, high-pressure water jets blast away any stubborn dirt hiding near the stem. Then, they get a gentle but firm scrub from soft, rotating brushes. Think of it as a car wash, but for millions of apples. This whole process isn't just about removing visible dirt. It's about getting rid of microscopic residue, creating a foundation of safety and purity before the apple is even broken open. Chapter 5. The ozone chamber and final rinse. After the scrubbing and spraying, the apples face their final, most advanced cleaning step, an ozone bath. They pass through a chamber where they're washed in ozonated water. Ozone is a powerful, natural sanitizing agent that kills a huge range of bacteria and molds that could spoil the juice. The best part? It does its job and then simply breaks down into regular oxygen, leaving no chemical residue behind. Following the ozone treatment, the apples get one last rinse with pure, clean water. Now they're perfectly clean, but they're also wet. To fix that, they travel over powerful fans that create a whirlwind of air, drying them completely. This is a critical step because any extra water could dilute the juice, messing with the final flavor. By the time an apple leaves this stage, it is clean, sanitized, dry, and ready for its grand transformation. Chapter 6. The grinding from solid to mash. We've now reached the heart of the factory, the place where the apple, as we know it, ceases to exist. Clean, dry apples are carried up to the grinders, and these aren't your kitchen food processors. They are industrial beasts built for one thing: brute force. Apples are fed into the top of a massive hammer mill or fruit crusher. Inside, a plate with razor-sharp blades spins at insane speeds, sometimes up to 500 RPM. Whole apples drop in, whole, and are instantly obliterated, pulverized into a thick, fragrant pulp called apple mash. The change is immediate and total. What went in as solid fruit comes out as a uniform, wet mass. And the smell, it's the most intense, concentrated blast of fresh apple you can imagine. This mash is now ready for the most important step, giving up its juice. Chapter 7. The enzyme. Secret: unlocking the juice. The apple mash is full of juice, but most of it is trapped inside the apple's cell walls by a natural substance called pectin. If you just squeeze the mash now, you'd leave a ton of juice behind. So, to get every last drop, the factory uses a little biochemistry. As the mash is made, a special, all-natural enzyme is mixed in. This enzyme, called pectinase, has one job: to break down pectin. It acts like a biological key, unlocking the apple's cellular structure. As the enzyme works, it dissolves the fibers holding the mash together, making it less thick and sticky so the juice can flow freely. Some factories use enzyme blends that can even increase the final juice yield by 5% or more. It's a quiet, invisible step, but without it, a huge amount of juice would go to waste. Chapter 8. The waiting game. Maceration tanks. Once the enzymes are added, the mash needs a little time to work its magic. It's pumped through a maze of pipes into colossal holding tanks. These are called maceration tanks, not fermentation tanks, because there's no yeast or alcohol involved. Some of these tanks are huge, holding 50 tons or more of apple mash at a time. Here, everything slows down. The mash rests for about 60 to 90 minutes. This isn't wasted time, it's crucial. During this break, the enzymes are busy breaking down the apple's structure, making sure the maximum amount of juice will be released. Even in a factory built for speed, some natural processes just can't be rushed. This patient wait ensures the presses can squeeze out every possible drop. Chapter 9. The squeeze. Hydraulic power. Okay, the mash is ready. It's time for the main event. The softened pulp is pumped into the titans of the factory floor, the hydraulic presses. These are monstrous machines. some capable of squeezing 9 tons of mash in a single go. Inside, the press is lined with hundreds of filtering sleeves. One factory uses 288 of them, designed to let juice out and keep solids in. Slowly, but with unstoppable force, the hydraulic system squeezes the mash. As it's compressed, a beautiful cascade of raw, unfiltered apple juice begins to pour out. A cloudy, golden-brown river. This is the first time we see the juice on its own. The leftover dry pulp, called pomace, is collected and often used to produce methane gas, creating clean energy to help power the factory. Nothing goes to waste. Chapter 10. First filtration, separating solids. The liquid pouring from the press is pure juice, but it's still full of tiny solids that made it through the first squeeze. To get that smooth texture we expect, it needs to be filtered. The first round is designed to catch any of the bigger particles. The raw juice is pumped into tanks, where some of the heavier solids naturally settle to the bottom. From there, it's pushed through a series of screen filters. These are fine enough to trap any stray seeds or bits of skin that manage to get this far. This step is all about refining the juice's texture, removing any grittiness, and preparing it for the more intense purification to come. Chapter 11. The ultrafiltration maze. Pursuit of purity. For clear apple juice, the filtering process goes high-tech. The juice enters an ultrafiltration system, which is the pinnacle of liquid purification. Here, the juice is forced through a network of membranes with pores so microscopic they are invisible to the naked eye. These incredible membranes let water, sugar, and flavor molecules pass through, but block all the larger particles that make juice cloudy, like pulp, proteins, and pectin. A single system can contain a massive network of these membranes, and to keep them working perfectly, they have to be meticulously cleaned and replaced every single day. The result? A crystal clear liquid, stripped down to the purest essence of the apple's flavor. Chapter 12. A fork in the road, clear versus cloudy. At this point, the production line splits. The factory is ready to create 2 very different products from the same starting juice, clear apple juice and cloudy apple juice. The path chosen here determines everything that happens next and defines the final look, feel, and even the nutritional content of the drink in your hand. Chapter 13. The cloudy path, a fuller flavor. To make cloudy apple juice, the goal is to keep those natural solids that give the juice its opaque look and robust taste. So, instead of intense filtering, this juice goes through a process called homogenization. It's blasted through a special valve at extremely high pressure. This doesn't remove the pulp. It smashes the particles into microscopic pieces and spreads them evenly throughout the juice. This ensures a consistent, full-bodied texture in every sip and stops the pulp from settling at the bottom. Many people feel cloudy juice is closer to eating a fresh apple. It keeps more of the apple's natural compounds, and research has shown that cloudy juice can contain significantly more antioxidants, known as polyphenols, than its clear counterpart. One study found that cloudy juices can retain up to 2 or 3 times the polyphenol content of clear juices. While much of the fiber is lost during pressing, the retained solids give cloudy juice a richer, tangier, and more complex flavor. Chapter 14. The clear path. A crisp finish. Making that perfectly transparent, jewel-toned apple juice takes a lot more work. After pressing, the raw juice is sent to clarification tanks for another round of enzyme treatment. Pectinase is added again, but this time its job is to specifically break down the compounds that cause cloudiness. This is done at a cozy 34 to 40 degrees Celsius, the perfect temperature for the enzymes to work their magic. Sometimes, a fining agent like gelatin is also used. When added to the juice, it causes the suspended particles to clump together and sink. This process helps clarify the juice much faster. After the solids have settled, the clear juice is drained from the top, and sent for its final polishing step, ultrafiltration. As we saw, this is what removes the last microscopic particles, leaving behind a perfectly clear liquid with a lighter, crisper flavor and a clean, refreshing finish. Chapter 15. The Balancing Act, Perfecting the Taste. Whether it's clear or clouded, the final step before pasteurization is all about consistency. Apples naturally vary in sweetness and acidity depending on the variety and the growing season. To make sure every bottle tastes exactly the same, the factory performs a careful balancing act. Technicians pull samples from every batch and race them to the on-site lab. They measure the sugar level, known as Brix, and the acidity, or pH. If a batch is a little too tart or not quite sweet enough, tiny adjustments are made using natural additives to hit the target, usually around 12% sugar and 0.4% acidity. This subtle refinement guarantees that the juice you buy today tastes just as good as the one you bought last month. Chapter 16. The Crucible, Pasteurization for Safety. Now for one of the most important steps of all, pasteurization. Fresh juice is a natural product, and it's full of microorganisms that will cause it to spoil in just a few days. To make the juice safe and give it a long shelf life, it has to be heat-treated. The most common method is high-temperature short-time, HTST pasteurization. The juice is pumped through a heat exchanger where it's rapidly heated to between 75 and 90 degrees Celsius. The key is that it's only held at that temperature for about 15 to 30 seconds. This quick blast of heat is enough to kill any harmful microbes without cooking the juice or ruining its fresh flavor. It's a scientific balancing act of temperature and time, perfected to guarantee both safety and quality. Chapter 17. An alternate path. In-bottle pasteurization. While HTST is common, some factories do it differently, pasteurizing the juice after it's already in the bottle. The sealed bottles are loaded into a machine that works like a giant industrial water bath. First, air is purged from the chamber. Then, the bottles are gradually heated with steam until the juice inside reaches the target temperature of around 75 degrees Celsius. They're held there for 20 minutes or more to make sure the heat gets all the way to the center. Finally, they enter a cooling phase where they're gently brought back to room temperature. This method sterilizes the juice and the inside of the bottle at the same time, offering an extra layer of protection. Chapter 18. Ready for the fill. Bottle preparation. While the juice is being perfected, the bottles are on their own journey. It would be a waste to put perfectly clean juice into a dirty container, so every single bottle is washed and sanitized. Empty bottles are fed onto a conveyor and taken through a cleaning machine. They're flipped upside down and blasted with a high-pressure sanitizing solution, followed by a rinse with sterile water. But there's one more critical step. To prevent the glass from shattering from the thermal shock of the hot juice, the bottles have to be preheated to at least 50 degrees Celsius before they can go to the filling station. This ensures they are stable, sterile, and ready to go. Chapter 19. The Bottling Ballet. High-speed filling. This is where you really see the factory's speed and scale. The clean, warm bottles move in a seamless, high-speed line to a rotary filling machine in a mesmerizing mechanical ballet. Each bottle is picked up, precisely positioned under a nozzle, and filled with an exact amount of hot, pasteurized apple juice. And it is incredibly fast. A modern bottling line can fill and seal up to 150 bottles every minute. The juice is hot-filled, meaning it's kept at a high temperature, often above 70 degrees, during bottling. This helps sterilize the bottle and cap on contact, guaranteeing a long shelf life. The bottles spin around the filler and are immediately sent to be capped, all without a human hand ever touching them. Chapter 20. Sealing the deal. Capping and vacuum. As soon as they're full, the bottles move to the capper. For twist-off caps, this machine does more than just screw on a lid. To create a vacuum seal, the cap is applied while the juice is still hot. As the juice cools, it contracts, creating negative pressure inside that sucks the safety button on the lid down. That's what makes the pop when you open a new bottle. Some factories even lay the bottles on their side for a few moments so the hot juice can sterilize the inside of the cap one last time. For cans, a machine creates an airtight double seam. No matter the container, the goal is the same: to hermetically seal it, locking in the freshness and protecting the juice from the outside world. Chapter 21. Final checks, the quality control lab. Even after the bottle is sealed, the job isn't done. Samples are constantly pulled from the line and rushed to the on-site lab for one final round of tests. This is the last chance to catch any problems before the juice leaves the factory. In the lab, technicians use specialized equipment to check everything one last time. They measure the pH for acidity, use a refractometer to confirm the sugar content, and test for color and clarity. They also run microbial tests to make sure the pasteurization worked perfectly. If any sample fails, the entire batch it came from is put on hold. Nothing substandard ever reaches the shelf. Chapter 22. The final journey. Storage and distribution. Once the bottles pass their final exams, they head down the conveyor to be labeled and stamped with a batch code and expiration date for traceability. Robotic arms then pack the bottles into cases, stack them on pallets, and wrap them for shipping. Forklifts whisk the pallets away to a vast warehouse to await distribution. From here, the apple juice is loaded onto the same kind of trucks that brought the apples in and sent out to supermarkets and stores around the world. The transformation is complete. What started as a mountain of fruit is now a perfectly packaged product, ready for millions to enjoy. From a single apple to a river of juice flowing through a maze of stainless steel, it's a marvel of modern industry. Whether you like the crisp taste of clear juice or the full-bodied flavor of cloudy, both are the result of incredible precision and care. So which one is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this journey fascinating, be sure to like and subscribe for more amazing looks at how things are made. So the next time you pour a cool glass of apple juice, just take a second to think about the incredible journey it took to get to you. It's a story that starts in an orchard and flows through a symphony of washing, grinding, pressing, and filtering. It's a perfect blend of nature's bounty and human ingenuity, turning one of the world's simplest gifts into a safe, delicious, and consistent drink we can enjoy every day.